Right now, something invisible is saving your life. It might be the genetic code carrying your health, the clean hands of a doctor touching a newborn baby, the electricity lighting your room, or the GPS mapping the ground beneath your feet. None of these came from celebrated heroes on day one. They came from outsiders, people who were mocked, ignored, silenced, and in some cases, driven to end their own lives because their ideas were simply too big for their time. History loves to tell us that progress is smooth and made by famous figures with grand titles, but real progress was built by forgotten pioneers. Some had their ideas stolen, some were erased from history books, and some died penniless and alone in dark rooms. Yet everything we rely on today, we owe to them. This is their story, and it is time we said their names. Our story begins in the 1850s, inside a quiet monastery garden, where a monk named Gregor Mendel spent 8 grueling years on his knees, counting thousands of pea plants. By tracking their height, color, and texture, he uncovered strict, mathematically predictable rules governing how traits pass down, discovering the foundation of genetics. But when he published his findings in 1866, the scientific elite brushed him off. Charles Darwin had just released his own work. Biologists didn't understand Mendel's math, and Mendel was just a monk, not a university professor. He died in 1884, completely unknown, never living to see his work rediscovered 16 years later as the master key to human DNA. Mendel proved that the truth is often hidden in plain sight, but as a doctor in Vienna was learning around that exact same time, seeing the invisible can carry a deadly price tag. In the 1840s, Ignaz Semmelweis noticed a terrifying pattern. Women delivering babies with male doctors died of childbirth fever far more often than those treated by midwives. The reason was simple yet unthinkable. Doctors were walking straight from autopsies to delivery rooms without washing their hands, carrying invisible particles of death on their fingers. When Semmelweis ordered doctors to wash their hands in a chlorine solution, mortality rates plummeted to nearly zero. His reward was complete humiliation. His colleagues revolted at the idea that their hands were dirty, and Semmelweis was pushed out of his job. The rejection broke his mind, and in 1865, he was tricked into entering a mental asylum where guards severely beat him to death, leaving him killed by an infection caused by the very germs he fought to stop. "80 years later, another scientist faced that exact same wall of disbelief when looking for the invisible. In the 1940s, Barbara McClintock stared through a microscope at ears of corn and realized that the genes Mendel had studied weren't fixed on a chromosome. They could move or jump. When she presented her discovery of jumping genes in 1951, her peers literally laughed at her. Instead of fighting them, McClintock chose quiet isolation, spending over 30 years continuing her work alone without needing mainstream approval. In 1983, at age 81, the world finally caught up, awarding her an unshared Nobel Prize and proving that true genius doesn't need immediate applause to be right. That reluctance to accept radical new truths didn't just apply to microscopic genes. It applied to the massive planet beneath our feet. In 1912, meteorologist Alfred Wegener looked at a world map and noticed that South America and Africa fit together like matching puzzle pieces. He proposed that all continents were once joined in a single landmass called Pangaea before drifting apart. Leading geologists exploded with anger. Refusing to listen to an outsider from meteorology challenged their solid Earth theories. Wegener spent the rest of his life searching for proof, ultimately freezing to death on a Greenland ice expedition in 1930. "30 years later, technology advanced enough to map the ocean floor, proving that the seabed was spreading and moving continents exactly as he had said. Wegener never heard the world admit he was right, just like the quiet scholar centuries before him who dared to move not just the continents, but the entire universe. For over 1,000 years, humanity believed the Earth sat motionless at the center of existence. Then Nicolaus Copernicus ran the calculations and realized the terrifying truth. The Earth was merely a rock revolving around the sun. Knowing the danger of challenging established order, he kept his work hidden for decades, only holding the first printed copy on his deathbed in 1543. The Roman Catholic Church banned his book and scholars mocked him, but Copernicus had lit a fuse that Galileo, Kepler, and Newton would follow to change human history forever. While Copernicus changed how we saw the cosmos, others fought to prove the existence of the smallest building blocks within it. In the late 1800s, Austrian physicist Ludwig Boltzmann argued that heat, air, and all matter were made of tiny, invisible, bouncing particles called atoms. The scientific establishment ripped him apart, publicly attacking his sanity and credibility for years until Boltzmann, convinced his life's work was a failure, hanged himself in 1906. Just 1 year later, Albert Einstein published mathematical proof that atoms were real using Boltzmann's exact equations that are now carved onto Boltzmann's gravestone. That dark legacy of academic politics and ignored physics continued into the mid-20th century. In 1964, building on the atomic world Boltzmann died fighting for, a 26-year-old physicist named George Zweig realized protons and neutrons were made of even smaller particles he called aces. At that exact moment, a famous physicist named Murray Gell-Mann proposed the same idea, calling them quarks. Because Zweig was young and unknown, his paper was rejected, while Gell-Mann was instantly published, celebrated, and awarded the 1969 Nobel Prize. Disillusioned by how the scientific machine worked, Zweig quietly walked away from theoretical physics altogether. While Zweig lost his credit to academic fame, others lost everything to corporate greed and prejudice. In the late 1800s, Nikola Tesla invented alternating current, AC, a safe system capable of sending electricity across entire continents. Thomas Edison had built his fortune on direct current, DC, and stood to lose everything if alternating current, AC, championed by Tesla and Westinghouse, became the industry standard, since AC could transmit power far more efficiently over long distances. To protect his business, Edison launched a public smear campaign, staging electrocutions of stray animals and even an elephant to falsely convince people that AC was uniquely deadly, while quietly pushing for AC to be used in the electric chair so it would become associated with death in the public mind. Despite this, AC's technical superiority ultimately won out, and it remains the basis of electrical grids worldwide today. Tesla won the technical battle, giving us the power grid the world runs on today, but he lost the financial war. Cheated out of his patents, Tesla died penniless in a cheap hotel room in 1943, feeding pigeons at his window. That same tragedy of erased credit struck across the globe in colonized nations. In 1895, in Kolkata, India, Jagadish Chandra Bose sent a wireless radio signal through walls to ring a bell, a full year before Guglielmo Marconi's famous experiment. But Bose believed knowledge belonged to humanity and refused to patent his work for money. Combined with living under British colonial rule, the Western world refused to acknowledge an Indian scientist, handing the fame, patents, and Nobel Prize to Marconi instead. Bose went on to pioneer the study of plant life and sensing systems, but his pioneering role in wireless tech was quietly written out of history. "80 years later, in that very same city, history tragically repeated itself. In October 1978, just 67 days after the world's first test tube baby was born in England, Indian doctor Subhas Mukherjee achieved the exact same miracle using simple, homegrown lab equipment to create India's first IVF baby, a healthy girl named Durga. Instead of celebrating him, local bureaucrats called him a fraud, mocked his methods, blocked him from attending international conferences, and transferred him to a low-level institute to stop his research. Humiliated and isolated, Dr. Mukherjee took his own life in 1981. It took 21 years after his death for the scientific community to officially review his notes and admit he was a genius who had achieved an IVF breakthrough ahead of almost anyone else on Earth. 10 stories, 10 people. 10 truths the world wasn't ready to hear. They gave us the laws of our DNA, the power of clean hands, the moving continents, the subatomic structure of our universe, the electricity in our homes, the wireless signals in our air, and the miracle of life itself. In return, they were ridiculed, stepped on, erased, and pushed into the shadows. Every single convenience, medical treatment, and scientific truth you rely on today was once defended by someone the world refused to believe. Next time you wash your hands, turn on a light switch, or look up at the stars, remember them. We tell the stories history tried to leave behind so that their names are never forgotten again. If you found this a meaningful attempt, don't forget to like it, subscribe for more, and share it with someone who'd find it useful. Thanks so much for watching.